Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Aceikith Gaming, back with another Season 2022 ranked game. As you can possibly see, we are doing a post-game commentary. So, as of me recording this video right now, I actually recorded this particular game late last night. So today is Wednesday, so this game was played late Tuesday night on the same day that you would have seen the game from yesterday. So we're playing Malphite again, but we're against a Yone, which is sometimes can be a and as you can see already, the blue team is actually invading us on blue side, so we don't really want to contest that. I've already said to the Talon, look, they're getting your blue, go and get their blue. So obviously he does have to be careful, but my aim is that I want to try and get over to there as quickly as possible if need be. But I am just going to try and help out as efficiently as possible on the red buff, and then I'm hoping that he's going to go straight over the blue. This is my thinking. So Yone, I've played into a few times as Malphite, but not with the recent changes to the build or variations that I have made. So if you may remember, the last few videos that I've made, I've actually done so. I've actually gone resolved as my secondary tree, rather than the usual, which would give me like the biscuits and also the tonic, which would give me a little bit more sustaining lane, but it wouldn't really do too much more other than that. So I've gone into the main secondary tree as resolved now, to get myself used to managing my mana a little bit better. That's been the main goal. At the same time as that, it also allows me to be a little bit more tankier for the later stages of the game. But although Malphite is a tank, you know, but the slight little bit of an issue can sometimes be that Malphite isn't as tanky because of those ruin pages. So as you can see, I'm being a little bit on the aggressive side on the Yone, but Yone is trying to return it back. He kind of mistimes his secondary part of the Q, and this time around he misses it again, which allows me to get another auto on him. So yes, he is pushing the wave a little bit more harder than I am, but then that is kind of normal, really. So, but yeah, so a bit of a positive start. So the reason why this is a post-game commentary, because I wouldn't necessarily play this late in the day. This was, I believe I played this around about 11 o'clock at night. So for me, playing a ranked game, this was pretty late. This was. And the reason being was because I was wanting to try and climb a little bit. Plus also, because obviously I'm doing the 24 hours of Daytona at this weekend, I'm wanting to get videos recorded ahead of time, and that way I'm not having to necessarily worry about that quite so much. So at the moment, as you can possibly see, the Yasuo got first blood on Oriana, which is kind of expected, but to get it at level 1 was not expected in itself. So it was a bit of a bad death, but the Talon did get a return kill on the Yasuo, so that did obviously help out quite a bit there as well. Now, if you're not noticing, I will show you here for just a moment. As you can probably see, the Evelyn and the Nautilus are both in our blue jungle for some unknown reason. I have no idea why, and the Evelyn just gets killed there. Evelyn is running Ignite, by the way. She's not running Flash. Now, I'm not sure if there was a particular reason why. But yeah, it is a little bit weird to see an Evelyn wanting to run Ignite alongside with obviously Smite, because she is a jungler. But Talon is one of those few junglers that can get away with it. And the reason being is because he can jump over walls when he pleases, with no cooldown. Well, I'd say there's no cooldown. The ability itself has no cooldown. The cooldowns is on the walls that he jumps over. So there's a set amount of time where he can no longer use that same wall before he can jump over it again. Now with jungle, obviously he's going to be able to use that quite efficiently to be able to maximize his jungle speed of clearing all of his jungle. Typically, an assassin won't be able to necessarily be that quick. As you can see, Yone does try going in for an all-in, but I kind of expected that. And Yone he's put himself in a bit of a predicament. Now, I'm going to be honest, I was kind of wishing I'd actually got to level 6 when he actually all-ined. The only reason being is because I was obviously being a little bit passive, because I don't need to necessarily try and force myself to get a bit too far ahead early. But if I actually had level 6 at that time, I do have a feeling that I possibly could have actually killed the Yone as he actually, you know, as he went back, just before he went back. So, yeah. But yeah, like we're doing, I would say, okay against a Yone. He is about double farm, but I don't want to be risking anything. And he did go Doran shield as well, so it's like, I'm not really necessarily going to be able to kill him early. There is a possibility that I can do that, but I've got to wait for Yone to overextend and make these mistakes. So my main job here is basically not die to anything silly. Another reason why as well is because I'm going to be honest, going into this game, my confidence had actually started going down a little bit. And like if you have a look at my recent match history, you may notice that I have actually lost a few games which I haven't recorded. And they've been pretty bad games. Some of it has been actually of my own doing. Even some games that I've actually won, I've actually not done very well. As you can see, the Yone tries going all in. Talon actually uses Ignite. And as you can see, I actually just flash myself and actually get the kill on the Yone, which is actually pretty good as well. So, I do miss my ult. But, although it's the same thing with Yone, although I missed my ult, I put myself in a good position to be able to get that kill. So it was a little bit more about I actually positioned myself quite well. I did well. I would say I repositioned myself quite well, I should say. So we managed to get a kill on the Yone. Talon did obviously gank for me. As you can see, the Nautilus is wanting to now start doing Drake, as well as the Misfortune. So we are probably about to see Drake go to them for the first Drake, possibly, I believe. Well, that's what they were wanting to do, but I guess Evelyn is somewhere else on the map. Because you can probably tell, the Nautilus is starting to roam. Now, this is going to be one of the one thing that is going to start grouping in. Nautilus is 2-0 already, which Nautilus is a very powerful support. And so, of course, at the same time as that, yeah, so Nautilus is one of those very powerful engagers. He's possibly the most powerful engager in League at the moment, possibly. And he has been like that for a little while. Because he has a very good presence on the map. He does. I know a lot of support mains do play him quite a lot, but it does require some knowledge of a good amount of matchups. So, unfortunately, we do lose the first Drake, which is Tech, so it's not going to be a Hex Tech map. The next Drake is going to be an Ocean Drake, so it's not going to be an Ocean Soul either. So, we could be getting a Chem Tech, which obviously I hope not. We could be getting Inferno, we could get a Cloud Drake. Cloud Drake could help us in different perspectives. You can see Yone goes all in. Unfortunately, we do lose the control ward that we literally just set. But then, really, to be honest, I think it's better off surviving, really. One thing I do need to learn, though, is not queuing. As you can see, now Nautilus is now top lane. Yeah, so the Nautilus in top lane in 10 minutes. And yeah, like, Nautilus does try to ult me down. He does manage to do so. Yone didn't actually have ult. Now, if Yone did actually have ult there, I'm pretty sure I would be 100% dead. But I do have to use ult to get away. I did not have flash up at that moment. Because you may remember, I used flash to get the kill on the Yone earlier on. Now, I do TP. Unfortunately, TPs are bugged in replay, so you won't be able to actually see me TP. But I do TP to top lane. And that way I can try and get some of the minions that was around. Again, yeah. Now, this is another thing that is going to start creeping up in the later stages of lane phase. Is that Yone is now going to start roaming to mid lane, which does start getting a little bit annoying to the Orianna. Now, Orianna is one of those control mages that is actually really good into a good amount of matchups. Yone is one of those matchups, Yasuo I should say, is one of those matchups that actually isn't very good, especially early, but as you get into the later stages of the game, Orianna is horrifying to play against because she does do a lot of damage and she has so much mana. Plus also her ultimate is very powerful. As you can see, she is 222 at the moment, so she did die in that level 1, if remember. So she is starting to make a little bit more of a staple on herself now at the minute, which is good. That one kill that Yasuo got at level 1, by the way, he's now 1 and 3. He is. So the Orianna has recovered their game quite efficiently. Talon, and in the meanwhile, is in the middle of a battle with the Yone. Yone has still not come back to top lane, by the way, because Yone actually tried stopping the Talon to get Scuttle Crab for some reason. I'm honestly not entirely sure why that was the case. So I am now going to do a little bit of roaming myself and basically push both the Yasuo and the Yone away, from that way Orianna is able to get some free XP for herself. Well, I'll say free XP, free gold, and have some of the weight lifted off, which does help her a little bit. But yeah, so Malphite is obviously kind of a counter to Yasuo and Yone. They do have to come in at you. They do, and Malphite is obviously very tanky. He is for the most part, and also does have a good amount of abilities to stop them both coming near to you. And also his E is also part of that counter as well. Because the E, I'll just bring it up. So the E, you deal 192 magic damage and reduces attack speed by 40% for 3 seconds. The attack speed is a big thing for Yone and Yasuo. For the both of them put together. It's massive. It is that. Ironically, because their attack speed is lowered, that means their Q isn't able to come up as quickly, because their Q their Q resets now go off of their attack speed nowadays, which was obviously changed at the beginning of season 2022. Yone did TP back into mid lane. I didn't see that, but Yone did indeed TP back into top lane again. Now, he's not going to have it up now for a little while, but we've now got Unleashed Teleport. It's been 14 minutes. So, effectively, lane phase is now over. But, obviously, myself, I'm not really necessarily going to group up right at this minute. Because I do need to get my mythic. It's quite important that I get my mythic item, because it is a big power spike for Malphite, specifically with Frostfire Gauntlet, because it allows even more slow on the likes of Yone and Yasuo. It will also do the same for the Misfortune as well, if I'm able to get in a very good gank there as well. So this is one of those games where it's going to be, I'm going to be farming up in top lane for a good amount, but I will obviously join up with the rest of the team a good amount later on in the game. We do have a very powerful team comp. We do. So if I obviously bring up. So obviously we're playing against Yone's Malphite. The junglers is Talon and Evelyn. Both of them run Ignite. Although Evelyn doesn't typically run Ignite. Obviously Talon do because he doesn't have a need to use it. So yeah. Obviously Orianna against a Yasuo. So for the most part, the Yasuo should have the upper hand, but there will come a certain stage where Orianna can just take over the game. Bot lane, you've got a Caitlyn and a Rel, which I must be honest, the Caitlyn's not doing particularly well. She's 0-3. And the Misfortune 203 got a 200 gold bounty. Looking like that they are going the Eclipse Ruin, the Eclipse Mythic item. So yeah, and then Misfortune support is of course that Nautilus that was 2-0 in the opening minutes of the game. He's now 2-1-3, so he hasn't got another kill recently, but has got 3 assists. Well, as I say that, he's now just gotten a shutdown on the Talon. Yeah, so some areas we're doing pretty well on top lane. Obviously, Yone, yes, has got a kill, but we've also got a kill. We're not too far behind him in the creep score at the moment, but obviously in time that will become better over time. But we haven't died yet. That's the main thing. We haven't died at all this game so far. We've now got a Frostbite Gauntlet, as well as that we've got Plated Steel Cap, because we are going to be the front line. We are, as well as the Rel. Both me and Rel has such powerful engage tools that that either one of us can actually open up the fight. So if one of us is CC'd down, that's not a problem. We can actually, we ourselves can actually ult in. Say for example, if I'm halted down, Rel can just go in herself and start up a team fight. So yeah, unfortunately there has been a triple kill for the Misfortune. So Misfortune in this early game has started to become a little bit on the fed side. So much fed that yes, she has actually died as well herself, but in one back pretty much she has got Eclipse. And she's also got Collector, which is a massive power spike for Misfortune at this stage in the game. Does it actually have 2 fully completed items and boots in 18 minutes? They're very far ahead. And the Caitlyn has only just fully built Kraken Slayer. So yeah, so we do need to obviously be careful with the Caitlyn. Misfortune, I should say, sorry. Misfortune can obviously shred down a tank if they want to. Eclipse does give armor penetration. Excuse me. So now I am going to look to try and see if I can try and get an all in. Unfortunately, they do actually fully complete. I do end up going backwards, which I actually should not have done, if I'm totally honest. But that was just me making a bad read. If I had known that the Rel was actually going to go all in, I would have actually ulted the entire enemy team, because I could have ulted 4 people up in the air, just like that. But yeah, unfortunately, I do actually ult away rather than ulting in, because I'm pretty sure if I ult inwards into the enemy team, maybe I died, possibly, but that's 4 of the enemy team just ulted down just like that. And that's a big moment right there. So there is definitely some mistakes that I'm making. Yes, I'm surviving, but I could be doing more for my team. I could as a Malphite, because obviously I'm going to be the primary front line. So of course now we've got Yone trying to split push. Drake is about to come up, by the way. We have got our teleport ready to use in case we do go for the dragon, and we probably should, because the enemy team have actually got the first 2 dragons. So 20 minutes in, it is an Inferno Soul that we are competing for as well. So we do need this next dragon. Like, quite badly. You can see that the rail wants to get over to there as quickly as possible. She has to use the W just to try and get over there as quickly as possible. So now we're over by the dragon. Can we stop it? Possibly. It's a possibility. Oh no, they haven't actually started it yet. We now ult in. The Yone goes all in and the enemy team in the back line. So everything just goes all completely nuts. And the only one that is alive is the Misfortune, because I believe she ended up backing at this precise moment. Yes, she did. As you can see, she actually ulted right here. So she actually ended up ulting here. She wasn't in the fight. So their Fed AD carry was not in the fight. And we managed to get our first dragon of the game. So, of course, a bit of troubling game in some ways. But you may notice all of a sudden I was only 1-0 earlier on with that team fight, and now 3-0-2. I am. So I've done quite a lot. I have. Evelyn is pinging constantly over here for some reason. I guess maybe somebody else is trying to take her raptors, possibly. We obviously can't see that. But it's possible that the Evelyn is saying, get off my raptors, these are mine. Of course, Evelyn obviously is a jungler. She does need to obviously farm. But I would always say, if your laner in your team is actually fed, say for example, to a certain extent, you probably should give that extra gold and that extra XP to your fed teammate, because they will be able to do a lot more with that gold, and then that way they can actually end the game early. So if that was the Misfortune, maybe they should have actually just gone ahead and just said, okay, you take that. Nautilus and Yone are roaming together. It seems like that they're wanting to try and make a pick. The Orianna does need to be a little bit careful. As you can see, there is a fight happening here. And yeah, the Orianna and the Caitlyn both die. The Caitlyn, I'm not sure where exactly she died. I can't remember. I believe, yeah, there you go. She died in a 1v1 to the Fed Misfortune. The Orianna did sadly die as well, but we are now going to start making some good moments ourselves. The Talon does go all in onto the Yasuo. The Evelyn is going to try and get, and this is really well played by the Talon. Just waited for that right moment to allow lots of damage to just collapse in itself. He even gets the Fed Misfortune as well. Unfortunately, he does die to the Nautilus, but it's the Nautilus that gets the shutdown. Now, obviously, you don't want the support getting the shutdown. You want somebody like the AD carry or the mid laner, or even the jungler, if they can carry, to obviously get that. But it was the support that got the shutdown. So, a bit unfortunate for the enemy team, but we managed to do quite well. Orianna possibly overextending just a little bit. She does use her ult, just in that way it allows her to be able to escape as efficiently, I guess. Probably not the best way to use ult, but obviously, you know, I guess you're just wanting to make sure that she got away. Plus also she's not used flash, which is another good thing. So, so the state of the game is, I'm 5-0-4, so I'm quite a little bit fed at the moment, and the Rel and myself are now looking for the Yone. We actually find the Yone just lurking around in the bush. And unfortunately, the Yone does get away, but he does have to use ult to escape. So, excuse me. So, but we are now going to try and attempt to take down this tower here. Yone is thinking that I have got bounty, and obviously I do. But I'm not going to be the carry in this game. The carry looks to be possibly. It could be the Talon. It could possibly be the Orianna. The Orianna has been doing quite well. She has recently. I am now going to go back. I've got 4 mail, by the way. And let's see, what do I buy next? So I do just get a ruby crystal, so it's just basically replenishing. But I do believe, what do I go third item? Maybe a frozen heart, I believe, possibly, because that does slow down the Yasuo, it slows down the Yone, and it slows down the misfortune. It doesn't do much to Evelyn, but if I'm entirely honest, if Evelyn wants to attack me and try and do a one-shot burst, I'm kind of fine with that to a point. Reason being is because it's like, okay, the Evelyn is actually trying to attack a tank, and as you can see, the Evelyn has died there as well. The misfortune died as well somewhere else, I believe. It was possibly I can't quite remember. I did go off a little bit on that. But yeah, so we're actually making a very dominating game as a whole. The only thing is that we're not remaining groups, but that's because they are split pushing and we're having to answer to that. Now Drake is up again. Of course, we want to get to there as quickly as possible. The Nautilus is a little bit out of position, and now Talon maybe is out of position. Yeah, he is. So he has to use ult just to get away. But now, the misfortune uses ult in a bad way again. Yone does get in a good ult though, but unfortunately he does have to rebound back to his original body. Oh, and look at that. Both me and the Orianna both actually get a really good kill together. To the point that as I ult, the Orianna ult to carry on that CC. And the Orianna ult is very powerful. Like, if we have a look at Orianna, so Orianna's ult, which is Shockwave, she commands a ball to unleash a Shockwave, deals 522 magic damage to nearby enemies and knocks them in the direction of the ball. So it doesn't necessarily sound quite that powerful, but when you're doing that to multiple enemies, it's a very dangerous ult to have to deal with. So we managed to get our second Inferno Drake. So what was the very first two dragons of this game for the enemy team? So it was a Hextech and an Ocean Dragon. We've now got the next two. So we've had the first two Inferno Dragons. We have, which is very good. Orianna does kill the Evelyn, which in turn the Evelyn did manage to kill the Caitlyn. Possibly the Caitlyn just getting a little bit too greedy, just wanting to kill the Evelyn as well. She has made a slight comeback, although it is still going to be a very difficult game for her because there is an Evelyn in the game. Evelyn does primarily want to be killing the AD carry. Although, maybe at this point, maybe the Evelyn should start targeting the Orianna, because the Orianna has got a 400 gold bounty on her now. Now we're going to start moving across to here, because as you can see, the Nautilus is over there. And just the Nautilus, just get him out of the way as quickly as possible. And yeah, so the Yone is roaming with the Nautilus, and they're getting caught, which I have no idea why that's happening. Really, to be honest, it's very simple mistake that should not be happening. Rail does ult down the Yasuo as well there. I do kind of wish now that I actually have the ult up right here and now, but it doesn't matter. The Caitlyn does kill the Yasuo, and the Orianna is now starting to want to ping us over to Baron. Now, I'll be honest, at this point, I was kind of thinking maybe that is the correct thing to do, but we have a split pushing Yone. Very fun, isn't it? So, we actually do have a Yone split pushing, which I'm now going to force the Yone to go away before he can do too much more damage to the tower. So as you can see, it's very close to death. Is our top lane tower that protects the base and the inhib. But I'm just going to knock these ones away while this is all going on. There's another fight happening over in mid lane. Talon did die earlier on. The Caitlyn and the Rel both die. The Orianna manages to escape, and the Evelyn has died as well. I believe maybe Orianna did actually use her ult again there as well. Look at that damage already. And like, what has Orianna got to? Oh, another fight happening here is the Yone. Yone's doing Yone things. And then in comes, I do not know why the Nautilus decides to ignite, but yeah, a bit questionable. I do think that maybe the Nautilus is starting to get a little bit desperate. The Talon does engage and sadly dies. So yeah, so both teams are making mistakes. More so on the enemy team. I do ult in, get the misfortune to think, you know what, just get a kill. She's got a bounty, so it's worth it kind of. Nautilus ends up going all in, and for some reason the Evelyn pretty much is near enough tanking all of us lot. So yeah, bit of questionable plays all around for a good amount of the team. It must be said. So Orianna is actually calling for the Baron to be started up. Which at the moment the rest of the team is wanting to obviously get more kills on the board. Which I think really for us to be able to get Baron is actually quite easy for us, because we do quite a lot of damage. We've got a Talon, we've got an Orianna that can obviously do a decent amount of burst damage as well. I can obviously tank Baron as well myself and do quite a lot of damage. As you can see there, the Evelyn just didn't stand a chance in that. So the Talon's now going to start going all in, but he does unfortunately get himself caught again. But that was kind of like a team bad sort of thing as well. And because at that very same moment as the Talon started trying to go in, his ult ran out while he was using Ghostblade as well, because he's got Yumu's. But at the exact same time as well as that, we all started backing up, because it was like, okay, we can start looking for Baron possibly, but yeah. So yeah, so there is quite a lot of damage mistakes happening from both teams. You know, I've made some mistakes, I will say myself. Now obviously Talon is obviously dead right now, so we can't really get this dragon, unfortunately. Unless we killed the Evelyn, which possibly would be kind of easy. But it would still be very difficult. So we're about half an hour in. That third item was actually a random Omen, I do remember now. That's to obviously try and hold down some of the crit from Yone. You got Yasuo and you, well, kind of misfortune. She's not obviously scaling off a crit because she's on the lethality build, but she has got some crit in here, in amongst her items. So that is to kind of stop that there. The Orianna does ping about my bad ult. I think that in turn was the only bad ult that I've made this entire game. But then part of that has actually allowed me to position myself in a good way. While all of that is going on, they're now starting to get into the base and bot lane. And they've actually opened up every single tower now, so our base is now pretty much completely open at this point. The rail does make a very good W in. Unfortunately, it doesn't really count much because none of the team was actually around at that time. But we should now be about to kill the Nautilus, hopefully. I don't know why the misfortune trying to save the Nautilus. She should have just let the Nautilus die. Especially when she does get killed for a, yeah, which is for us a very good thing. And I just ult in, just think, okay, let's just kill that Nautilus and get an ace. Maybe then we can start trying to get some overall presence and start making a little bit more pressure around the map. We do as well. So unfortunately, this has died right here. So we're now going to start having super minions coming out our base on bot side. The good thing for us though is that we have actually got some pressure in mid lane, but the Yone is going to try and stop that. But you can see at this point now, Oriana's starting to do a lot of damage. As you can see here, see her ult is now doing 740 damage. And just remember, that's every enemy that is caught in that ball when she ults as well. And yeah, Yone is starting to rage a little bit. Which I'm going to be honest, that is the kind of thing that I've started doing a little bit. Over the course of this day actually as well. I'm going to be completely honest. Because I've actually had games where, you know, I felt like, you know, I felt kind of helpless. I have. And that kind of thing in ranked games is going to happen. And that is one thing that I'm going to need to start learning. Especially because I am wanting to climb quite efficiently. As efficiently as possible. Again, Nautilus for some reason is going around the map trying to lay down, I guess, maybe wards. But he's going into enemy territory. Why is he here? Of all places. I have no idea why. I have no idea why. So we are now level 18. We are as well now. So after random environment, we do get that Frozen Heart to reduce the attack speed. So Frozen Heart gives you extra mana, it gives you ability haste, and it gives you extra armor. All of that is what we want. It reduces the attack speed of nearby enemies by 20, and it reduces incoming damage from attacks by up to 20 health, capped at 40% of the attack's damage. As you can see, it's already blocked some damage as well. Now, you may be wondering, why did I put a control ward there? Well, I'm not going to be making too much use of it. Plus also, they actually put in a sneaky ward up here. Now, I can tell you now the reason why Nautilus was hovering around in our red territory. The reason why is because Nautilus was putting a ward deliberately so that way the Yone could actually come into enemy territory, try and get another inhib, maybe even the last one of the three, and then possibly they could try and end it. But I actually saw that happening on the minimap, so that way they can actually do that efficiently themselves. Now, Dragon is about to spawn yet again. The Talon is unfortunately dead at the moment. So is the Evelyn, but the enemy team does have priority in that at the moment as well. Now, one thing did go over in my head was that possibly was the plan to actually go for Baron at this point. Just allow them to get the final Dragon, which would get them Inferno Soul, but would the plan here just be, okay, we'll just get Baron? Unfortunately, they were all waiting in a bush that ended up getting the rail one-shot. So unfortunately, at that point, they ended up getting Inferno Soul anyway. So they've actually now got possibly the second most powerful soul in the game. The most powerful one, possibly, ironically, being the Chemtech. Yeah, Misfortune possibly could have killed me there. I don't understand why she actually was retreating from me. She probably could have killed me if she was just kiting me efficiently, but yeah. We are now starting to get caught again. I'm obviously having to push the turret down. As you can see, Oriana is just trying to do as much damage as she can, but I do believe excuse me, yeah, as you can see, the Yasuo is just walking around trying to find the Oriana. Oriana does manage to get away. Oh, while that's all going on, yeah, Nautilus is yet again getting caught. So Oriana, yes, is getting caught, but she's at least surviving. She is. So, and we're mounting quite a bit of pressure. Now, my final item is going to be, oh, what's it called? I'll be able to see it in a minute. I've got an Aegis for Legion at the moment. Gargoyle Stoneplate. That's going to be my final item, which will then see us through to the end of the game. We get Baron, and our plan now is just try and push as hard as possible towards one lane. Primarily mid lane, but we're going to try and power through two different lanes, so that way they do have to split up. we do have the ability that split pushing is a possibility. Of course, Orianna does have ignite as well, and yeah, we are about to kill the Evelyn, and that's a good job there. And they kill the Yasuo as well. So the enemy team are starting to fall off, and just remember, their tank is Nautilus. That is their main front line right now. And the Nautilus, although did very well at first, didn't do very well towards the end. I decided I'm just going to go all in, just try and do as much damage as possible. I died there, unfortunately, but we're going to be able to do a huge amount of damage. As you can see, and even during most of that fight, that last bit of the fight, Orianna wasn't even there. So a little bit unfortunate on that, but we do get another ace. Orianna is now just waiting for the next set of minions to come along, and then possibly start trying to power down onto the this tower right here. Rel is split pushing top lane, which is quite funny. You don't often see a Rel split push because obviously Rel shouldn't be split pushing. Orianna is just staying amongst the minions, but she is possibly going to get caught. No. That is a lot of damage. I know it's late game, so it's kind of be expected. Plus also she is using a mana potion, which will give an insane amount of HP. But how much AP is she doing? Yeah. Her AP, her ability power is 962. Her ultimate is doing 1120 magic damage. That's an insane amount of damage. And bearing in mind, she's got a Luden's Tempest, she has, which is giving all of her legendary items an extra 5 magic pen. She's got a Shadow Flame, which is giving her extra magic pen. Excuse me. Especially when you consider the fact that a good amount of the team all have shields. Nautilus has shields. Yone has shields with his W and his Immortal Shield Bow. Same with that. Yasuo has shields with his passive and also a Immortal Shield Bow. That's no shields right there. Nautilus also has a Locket of the Iron Solari. That is even more shields right there. And depending on the ruin path that the Misfortunes decided to go, if she's got Overheal, that's another shield with Bloodthirst there as well. That's a lot of shields. The Shadow Flame's doing a lot of work this game. We start going for an all-in. A lot of mess going all around the floor. But yes, I do die, but the entire enemy team are all about to fall down to too much damage, and that is pretty much going to be the game right there. But I do hope you enjoyed the post-game commentary. I am aiming to try and not do too many of those, but obviously this one, as you can possibly appreciate, that this game was played quite late in the day. And, you know, like for me, it was like, you know, I wasn't having the best of days going into this game. I had lost some self-confidence a little bit, but this game has actually allowed me to get my confidence back a little bit. So it's just a matter of sometimes you do have your off days and you have your on days. And sometimes when you have your on days, it's just basically just go back to basics. You know, don't play anything too tricky or anything too complex if you're in that state of mind where you go, you don't feel you can play aptly, say for example. But you know, this just shows that, you know, even if you are having a rough day, you can do it. You just have to play reliably and don't do anything silly. But if you do like the video, please do give it a like, as it does help out a lot. And also please subscribe to the channel as well. We are aiming to hit 100 subscribers this year as well. And we are aiming to play a lot of League of Legends ranked series as well. So if you are interested in that, then please do subscribe to the channel as well. But otherwise, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time.